How's it going, everyone? Welcome to another episode. Today we're gonna make khachapuri. It's a Georgian bread. Now, I have made khachapuri on my channel before, but that was very different. There are various kinds of khachapuri around Georgia. This particular one is filled with cheese and topped with cheese. So let me grab a knife and show you what's inside. Of course, in Georgia they use Georgian cheese, but we'll get around it by using mozzarella for that stretch and feta for the saltiness. That combination works really well. And if you like cheese, trust me, this is one you should try. It is so soft and pillowy. And I definitely encourage you to try out my other khachapuri as well. Actually, that was one of the most popular videos on my channel. I like them both. The first one, it looks absolutely beautiful. This one's a bit more rustic, but it tastes amazing. So let's get to it. Here's what you'll need for the dough: some strong white bread flour, yogurt, yeast, salt, sugar, bit of olive oil. For the filling, we got some mozzarella, feta, and an egg yolk, and some more mozzarella to go on top. Now onto the equipment. You'll need a bowl to mix your dough in, scales, a dough scraper, a temperature probe, and something to bake your khachapuri on. You could use a thick metal tray or cast iron skillet like this one. I'm gonna use my baking stone, because that works really well for a recipe like this. If you don't have any of these, simply use a tray with some non-stick paper. I also got this pizza paddle, which will come in handy, but it's definitely not necessary. Now my kitchen is around 21 degrees Celsius, so I want my yogurt to be around 8 degrees, cold from the fridge basically. We're kneading this dough by hand, so we don't want to get too warm. So get your bowl, add the yogurt, follow that with the yeast, salt, sugar, and the oil, and give it all a good mix. This is a very basic dough, so we're mixing all the ingredients from the get-go. But before you add the flour, mix everything well. You want to dissolve any large salt or sugar crystals and hydrate the yeast a little bit. Trust me, you don't want to skip this step. Once you're happy with your mix, add the last ingredient, the flour. Now grab your scraper and mix it to a dough. You want to mix it in a bowl until there's no more dry flour. And if the scraper is not doing the job, continue on by hand. We want to mix it until it's one cohesive piece to avoid making a mess on your table. Make sure you collect up all the dry flour. As you can see, it's a relatively dry dough, so it's quite easy to handle. When it comes to kneading, I'm going to use my regular method. Press down and forwards with the heel of my right hand, then using the fingers of my left hand I fold the piece of dough under the heel of my right hand, then turn it and repeat. Once you've done this a few times, the motion will become fluent. It will be like second nature. It's pretty simple. You want to keep kneading the dough for around 6 minutes in total. And once it's nice and smooth, we can start fermenting. Place it in a bowl and take the temperature. Around 26 degrees Celsius is what I'm after. If your dough is warmer, or perhaps if your kitchen is warmer, you'll ferment more rapidly. If it's cooler, it'll take you longer. Adjust the proofing times accordingly. I'm going to leave it for 2 hours. That'll be enough time for the first proof. After the first proof, I want to give it a fold. Folding will mainly help us with degassing the dough and equalizing the temperature of it. Performing a fold is super simple. Flatten the dough out, fold the edge over the middle, going around in a circle until you reach point where you started. Now my kitchen is quite cool, so the dough may cool down on the outside and still be warm on the inside. The folds will distribute that temperature evenly throughout the dough, thus giving me an even fermentation. After the fold, cover the dough up again, leave it for 2 more hours. And this recipe is so simple that this is already the final proof. And during the final hour of fermentation, preheat your oven to as high as it goes with the fan off. Also preheat your stone if you're using one. So it's been 4 hours in total. The dough is puffed up quite well. Now we can go to shape it. Place it smooth side down on your table and start flattening it out. You could actually use a rolling pin for this step, but hands will work well enough. You want to stretch it to about a foot in diameter, which is about 30 centimeters. And then load it up with the filling, which is the feta, mozzarella and the egg yolk mixed up. Now using a spoon, spread it out so it's nice and even. It's worth noting that you could use various fillings. You could use different cheese, you can pop some vegetables in there if you want. But with that, it will stray away from being a khachapuri even more than it is now. Now it's time to seal it up. Pick it up by the edge, hold it, and with the other hand, pass the dough over. You want to crimp it up like it's a massive dumpling basically. There's no real technique to this, simply collect the dough in the middle and squeeze it together so it doesn't come undone. Try to press out as much air as possible before you seal it up though. You don't want bubbles inside it. Now we need to flatten it out again so it's nice and thin. Well, more or less. It doesn't have to be very thin. It should have that nice chewiness, you know, it's not a pizza. And you can use dusting of flour to help you along the way. Be careful when you press it towards the edges. And this goes especially when you're using a rolling pin, if you decide to use one. Because as you press towards the edge, the cheese may pop out. So stretch it gradually. There's no rush. Trust me, you don't want a leaky khachapuri. You end up with cheese all over your oven. So once you're happy with the size, finish with the last ingredient. The rest of the mozzarella. Spread it out nice and evenly. You don't want too much on here. If you're not using a baking stone or cast iron skillet like I showed earlier, then by this point the khachapuri should be laying on a piece of parchment paper. Now because I'm going to move this over to the oven with a pizza paddle, I'm going to have to shake it around a little bit. I don't want my cheese to fall off, right? And to prevent it from doing so, I'm going to press the cheese in using palms of my hands. There's one more thing to do before it goes in the oven. Tear a little hole in the middle so it doesn't blow up. And that's it, we are ready to bake it. If you are using a pizza paddle, then make sure that there's enough flour underneath your khachapuri, or even dust the paddle with some flour so it doesn't stick to it. Trust me, if this sticks to the paddle, when you try and put it in the oven, only the cheese will go in the oven. So because the temperature is so high, this will only take 15 minutes to fully bake. Before you take your khachapuri out of the oven, check the bottom of it. If that's fully baked, then you're ready to go. And of course you don't want the top to darken too much, so place it on the lowest shelf. Right now, I'm going to do something very greasy, yet super delicious. And this is optional. If you don't want to do it, don't. What I'm going to do is grab a piece of butter and rub the khachapuri all over. This will give it a beautiful shine and a nice buttery flavor. And I trust you're not on a diet when you're making this anyway. But here we are. That's how you make a cheesy khachapuri. What do you reckon? Would you try this? Or perhaps you have tried it already. Let me know down in the comments. What's your favorite khachapuri? And if you have any questions or suggestions, also let me know. And if you haven't already, click that subscribe button. I got so many more delicious bread videos coming up. And my channel is already full of them. If you're a complete beginner, I'll teach you everything you need to know. And if you're an experienced baker, trust me, I'll show you something you've never seen before. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.